Is it possible that the political left has become more conservative than today's Trump-aligned MAGA conservatives?
We're going to eliminate the Department of Education. I need to get rid of the 16th Amendment, y'all. And you also have to get rid of the 17th Amendment.
It seems the so-called radical left may now bear the responsibility of safeguarding and conserving the Constitution, ironically from conservatives like Andy Biggs here, who are actively trying to repeal amendments in their crusade to dismantle institutions like the Department of Education. Democrats want to conserve the Department of Education, while conservatives, led by Elon Musk and Donald Trump, are trying to abolish it. Strange how the task of constitutional preservation now falls to the political left, long dismissed as anything but conservative, while today's right-wing conservatives abandon the very principles they claim to uphold. In turning away from their role as stewards of the Constitution, they've left its defense to those they label as radicals. And this inversion isn't limited to policy, it's bleeding into public discourse too. The very conservatives who once branded themselves as defenders of liberty and free speech are now handpicking their audiences, silencing dissent and admitting only those who pledge unwavering loyalty to the party line and its dear leader. The modern Republican Party under Trump's MAGA movement is really leaning into that freedom and democracy thing by resembling the Chinese Communist Party, historical communist regimes, and the dystopias of 1984 and V for Vendetta, because nothing says constitutional conservatism like punishing dissent and turning public forums into loyalty parades. Here's a clip from the Courier News Instagram channel that shows Republican Andy Biggs' own constituents being turned away from his town hall, blacklisted it seems for criticizing Donald Trump on social media and elsewhere.
I tried to get in. I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I've always been independent. They wouldn't let me in. They looked up my record on how I voted, and based on that, they refused to let me in. This is not America.
I did attempt to get in. They were looking me up on a computer screen. Their response when they found my name was, "Oh." Seriously. And then I was given the reasoning that this was a private event and that this is private property and they have paid for it. And so that they could decide who came in and who didn't, and that they had decided that it was for Republicans only. When I said that I am a constituent, and I have been for years, and I have a right to speak to my congressman and to question him, they said no.
He only talks to those people who agree with him. He doesn't talk to anybody who has a disagreement. This is not the way the United States is supposed to be run.
He has never made himself available to anyone other than Republicans from what I can tell. All of his town halls seem to be screened. We're not let in. We never are responded to whenever there is an email, any kind of phone call, for any kind of questions. I've never had that opportunity to speak to my own congressman.
Andy Biggs and his fellow MAGA conservatives are busy turning town halls into gated echo chambers, denying entry to anyone who dares question Donald Trump. Meanwhile, those dangerous radical left socialists like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are out drawing overflow crowds on their Fighting the Oligarchy tour, welcoming critics and supporters alike, and proving far more comfortable with the messy business of democracy than their conservative counterparts. If the right has forsaken its duty to conserve the Constitution, where else are true constitutional conservative Americans supposed to go, except to the so-called radical left, who, ironically, seem to be the only ones still fighting to preserve it? Congrats, MAGA conservatives. You played yourself.